Well, hello there. My name is John Lustrea. I'm the Education Coordinator at the National Museum of Civil War Medicine. I'm joined today by Aaron Blessing, one of the brewers here at Antietam Brewery. And we're here to talk about this fine offering, Double Canister IPA, which was made specifically for the museum by Antietam Brewery and is only available at the National Museum of Civil War Medicine. So we're going to talk a little bit about, how it's made, what the inspiration was, some of the story behind calling it Double Canister. We're going to get into all that as we go along here today. So Aaron, can you tell us a little bit about how Double Canister was made and maybe what the inspiration was for it?
Well, sure, yeah. Actually, I can even show you.
Let's
Come
go.
on, John. Let's do it.
Fantastic. Great timing for you all. Here we are where we're in a functioning brewery right now.
Yeah, this is a functioning brewery. Excuse us a little bit. We actually are in the process of making beer as we speak. This is the cellar area. So we have large conical tanks. These are our fermenters, where you can see sometimes beer is very, very happily fermenting away, where the yeast breaks down the sugars to create CO2 and alcohol. These flat tanks over here, these are our bright tanks. Now these are where the beer is moved into to put the finishing touches on the carbonation before packaging. From these tanks we will go ahead and keg it or can it, or actually usually both.
And now the Double Canister would have been through all of this here.
All of this, yes. It started off, I think, in this tank. And it had a nice long little time. It fermented really well. It was a very, very happy beer. But,
now the batch is kind of a small batch, is that correct?
Yeah, it's a 15-barrel batch, which could be considered small, about 465 gallons. So depends on your definition of small.
And you can get the beer a few different places. You can obviously get the majority of it at the museum. It's also going to be here in the tap room for a special event we're going to be doing.
That's correct.
At the tap room, and I think it's at JoJo's, which is just a few doors down from the museum.
Yes, it is at JoJo's, yeah. Yeah, they have a keg of it on draft, I think, as we speak, so I think I've seen some on-tap reviews already. So.
I think so.
Yeah.
So it starts life here, it goes to this container. Where does it go from there?
From there it gets packaged, but over here is where it gets made.
Okay.
So we start off, this is our grist case and our mill. We mill in the malt. It'll go into this first vessel here, which is our mash tun. And you can see right now we got some spent grain we just finished mashing with.
Oh, wow.
So in the mash tun, there's a starch conversion where it converts all the starches from the grain into sugar. From there, we'll transfer it to the second vessel over here. This second vessel, which our current beer is in right now, is our brew kettle. And if you want to step up there and get a look, it's kind of cool. Well, we're still collecting, so it's
Look at
not
that.
completely. Oh wait, no, we're sending to whirlpool. So we're done with the boil. Once it's done boiling, it'll get shot over here, which I don't know if the steam will let you see, but this is our whirlpool. So here we collect the beer before it gets finally sent through this heat exchanger to the fermenters, and that's where we introduce the yeast and it starts getting made. And after fermentation, we stick it in the bright, which I showed you earlier. Mm-hmm. At that point, we'll run it into our canning line over here. Mm-hmm. So this is, you have to excuse the mess. We're about to, we're in the middle of a cellar expansion. We're getting 3 new tanks in. So yeah, we've got a 7-head filler. This is our depalletizer. It comes through there, goes through the twist rinser. The beer gets filled up. Lids are put on, goes through the steamer, gets rinsed off, goes down. We have an inline labeler right here. Kind of hard to see with all this stuff. But, and then we collect it, and then you have your finished product. This is a beer for a friend of mine. We made for contract for him, called Agent Orange, Mad Science. Brian Roberts, check him out, Thanksgiving Farms.
There you go.
Yep. And that's about it. From there it goes to your distributors, it goes to the bars, it goes to the restaurants.
And the museum in this case.
Yes, exactly.
Fascinating. Now, what was the inspiration? Well, before we talk about the inspiration, maybe talk a little bit about the flavor profile that we have in this.
Okay, yeah, so double canister, this is more of a traditional West Coast IPA. Now, I have put some modern spins on it, but a lot of the modern IPAs that they have right now, they have a really short shelf life because they're really heavily aroma hop oriented, and a lot of those compounds break down very quickly. So, so what I did is I took a much more shelf stable product, and also went ahead and added some of the more interesting aroma hops, some Idaho 7, some Azacas, some fruity things on top of something that would give a really nice, like traditional IPA background, like Centennials and Amarillo and some CTZs. And what I really wanted to create with the double canister is a beer that didn't really go bad. It more just sort of cellared and changed and developed as it ages. So with the 8.5%, you're going to see this beer change a lot over the course of a few months. Like initially, it's going to have a lot of that citrus that you pick up and the hop aromas, but those are going to like slowly start taking a step back. And
okay,
as
so
they
it'll
do,
mellow almost.
Yeah, it'll mellow that out, and then the malt will really start to develop and sort of merge with the grassy undertones of some of the other hops, and you'll still have that piney resinous thing there, and it's just a beer that really, instead of it being bad in 6 months, it's just going to be more aged and like a completely more developed beer.
So someone that gets this in February, when it's first going to go on sale to the public at the museum, is going to have a different experience drinking this than if they were to get it in, say, September.
Which is a great reason to get it both times. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you get this from the museum and you enjoy it, come back a few months later and you'll have a different experience. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Now, what made you lean towards this West Coast IPA style for this beer? Just something you wanted to try, or was there a particular inspiration you had?
Well, it was mostly just because I really wanted to get that good shelf life in there, and I wanted to have something. Well, IPAs are really popular, so I mean everybody, not everybody, but there's a huge following for IPAs. So I wanted to get something that would, be accessible for most beer drinkers, yet at the same time provide like a shelf life. And again, I think it's going to be really neat to watch how this beer changes. You know,
I very much agree.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Now, those of you out there might be wondering, double canister IPA, why is it called that? And is there a single canister IPA? And the answer to that is yes. You all made a regular canister IPA for us. 2019? Is that when that was?
Yeah. Yes, that's very much true. And if it weren't for COVID, probably 2022.
right, exactly.
But yeah. No, so this is sort of a take on a beer that we made for you guys previously. It's different. It's not the same recipe doubled up, but it's but it is in that same style and same vein, and everybody was pretty happy with the first one, so we decided to keep going with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so the historical background for this canister is a type of artillery ammunition that was used during the Civil War, used at very close range. It's a tin can, probably about the size of a pint glass, maybe a little bit bigger, filled with metal balls, which basically turns the cannon to a giant shotgun. And that was only used at extremely close range when the cannoneers got especially desperate. And if one round of canister wasn't enough, they would sometimes put 2 rounds of canister in the cannon, hence double canister. It's one of the more devastating types of ammunition used in the Civil War. If you are a unit that gets struck with double canister, you may not make it back to a hospital in order to be treated. In fact, it's highly likely that you won't make it back to a hospital. So that's the sort of historical inspiration for the beer. I'm very excited, like you said, to see how this ages and changes over time. Come get it at the museum. Come get it here at Antietam Brewery in Hagerstown, Maryland, at the tap room. And if you have any questions, reach out to either of us, either of our organizations, and we'll be happy to get in touch. So from John and Aaron here at Antietam, this is saying signing off, and enjoy Double Canister, and cheers.
Cheers.